Hello, and welcome to another video. Merry Christmas to everyone who celebrates. Happy holidays to everyone that has something going on this time of year. And to everyone else, I hope that you're doing well, that you're happy and healthy. And for all of us, I hope there's been a lot of wonderful art creation. It's been a little while since I did a long form art video like this, so I do apologise for that. But I have produced a whole bunch of shorts related to an advent calendar I purchased from Shimmer Drops, a company that creates absolutely beautiful, shimmery, glittery, metallic, colour shifting watercolour paints based in Melbourne. So I will link the playlist of the shorts somewhere around here, and not to worry if you're not interested in shorts. I'm doing a longer form video which should be coming out next Sunday. That is one of my goals going into 2025 for art related resolutions, is to have a much more stricter schedule for making these videos and uploading them and sharing them with you. I find that creating these videos holds me accountable to actually produce the art that I want to. It's something that I want to do, but I still find myself caught in those cycles of mindlessly scrolling different social media apps or just lounging around, and I'm not enjoying my time. I'm just blankly staring. But if I hold myself accountable to producing these videos, they make me produce art, which I do enjoy so much, but it gets put on the back burner when you're just exhausted. But I've just got to push myself and remember, it doesn't matter the finished product as long as I'm having fun while I'm creating it. So this video is just a look at the art gifts I got for Christmas. As well as the few things that I purchased lately. I'm trying not to buy too much. I'm trying to be a bit strict on that. But I do have a few other art-related goals, and some of the sales were, very, very good. So I brought a few little bits and pieces, so I thought I'd have it all together. Now, one of my big goals for next year is to improve my oil painting. Now, I tried oil painting very first time in 2023. So at this point, when I'm uploading this, still last year, but it'll soon be 2 years ago. So I purchased some linseed oil to help with blending and mixing, and I see a lot of people use it and recommend it, and I'm trying to improve that. I have a bit of a goal to try and produce 4 A5 size paintings to put together the different techniques I'm practicing now. I think 4 is a reasonable amount. That's 1 every 3 months. It's not pushing myself, but not letting myself slack off. And it's also being mindful of ventilation and all that good stuff, because I know oil paints they are a little toxic. But another thing I brought was this battery operated eraser from Derwent. It was on sale, and I've wanted to get one of these for a while, as I'm also trying to improve sketching anatomy, just getting my proportions right. So I thought that might make things a little bit easier when it comes to erasing. We'll see how it goes. I also brought a Spectrum Noir Glossy highlights, which is a 3D medium. It should add extra dimension to different art products, which if you've watched me for a while, you know I really enjoy different textures in my acrylic paints. I think that it'll look really good if it works the way it should. So hopefully that'll be something to add a different dimension. But I also got this Winsor & Newton 100% cotton watercolor journal. It's 200 GSM. It is a rough texture. Cold press, not rough, cold press texture, which is to get me doing more watercolor painting. Fingers crossed, that's another one of my goals this year. Except, unlike oil painting, it's not so much practicing, it's actually doing the thing that I like. I enjoy watercolor painting, but I don't do it enough. I enjoy working with oil pastels and I don't do it enough. So I'm challenging myself to create, alternating month to month, a finished piece that I would be happy to display. So January, watercolor, February, oil pastel, back and forth throughout the year to try and get myself creating these finished pieces, working on these mediums that I really love, and just creating more things that I would happily display. Now, this is a brand I'd never heard of before. It's called Life of Colour. It's an Australian brand, which is pretty cool. And I got these sort of on a whim. This is their metallic set. And please forgive how I spell the word metallic when that's written on the page. I don't know what I was thinking, but as you can see, they're incredibly shiny, which is exactly what I like. They're not light fast, so this is just for journaling stuff, just having fun while journaling. I also got these mirror effect paint pens. The previous ones were brush tip, which is absolutely wonderful, definitely my preferred tip. These are your sort of pump paint pen, so you got to pump them to get the acrylic paint flowing in them, and the silver and bronze come out really quite nicely, but the gold, it took forever to pump and it was really quite scratchy. Even when it was flowing and it looked like the tip was fully covered, it was still coming out very strange. So I think there's some sort of blockage in it. I haven't taken it apart. It's very messy. It's crazy time of year. I don't have time to take apart these supplies. I think this was just a bad luck, and I don't think it's going to be this way for all the pens. I just think that there was something a little bit funny about this one. But the other two are absolutely stunning, and they're far more shiny and reflective than the metallics, but I think they could go really nice in tandem if you wanted to, but they suit different purposes as well. You can see how much shinier they are than the general metallics, except that silver really in the metallic brush pens really shines. So definitely going to have fun with them. Said not life fast, so they're for journaling, different scribbles and whatnot, just for fun. Now I got this Atelier paint set, as I do have a lot of acrylic paint, but the acrylic paint I have is the Reeves brand, which has a super shiny finish. I got some Atelier, the pastel set for my birthday last year, and they have an incredibly matte finish. So I got this set while it was on sale, just so I could have a different array of acrylic paints that finish more matte. It could create different dimension and texture, and this set has an array of really good colours. You got your titanium white, cobalt blue hue, phthalo green, armalide yellow, naphthol red light, naphthol crimson, and burnt umber, which I think will make a really good array of colours that captures all the important ones. And they have different opaquenesses, so it'll be fun to mess around with them to see what I like, how they go with the Reeves, how matte they are, if they do give that different dimension. So I think that'll be quite fun. Though it probably is funny me wanting this matte quality when I've just said how much I like shine and shimmer and sparkle, which is what this paste is. It's Glamour paste by Stamperia in sparkling white, which I will swatch out at the end on this black paper that I'm sort of using as my backdrop. But it's very pretty. Can't wait to use it. Now on to gifts. This was from my mum. It's the Derwent A6 Concertina sketchbook. Not sketchbook. portfolio. Now it says that it is watercolor, but it doesn't say what the paper is made of. And I'm of the belief that if it doesn't say it's cotton, that it's not cotton. It does have a really nice tooth to it, so it'll definitely be fun to use. We'll see how much water it can hold, I guess, but it's definitely fun. Now I've got, this was from my brother, Life of Colour, the brush tip pens in Wildflower. Now as I was getting myself the metallic and the chrome, I was interested in this one, but I thought, no, don't get a third set of from a company you've never tried before. They could be terrible and then you've just wasted your money. But my brother got this for me as a Christmas gift. He was with me and said, well, I don't have you anything. If you want it, I'll get it for you. And I'm really, really grateful he did. It's got such a rich acrylic, like those paint pens that you have to pump, but they're just brush tips. So I hope that the tips don't get clogged or the like, but they're so much easier to use and they are so, so vibrant. Again, they're not light fast, so they're for inside the journal, but they'll be so fun to use. So if you do see them and they're reasonably priced, I would recommend getting them. Now this is oil pastels. They go with the other half of the watercolor oil pastel trifecta that I'm trying to put together in the new year. Now I'd never heard of this brand, Giorgione, but my father got me these. I've looked into them. They are designed in Italy, but an Indian-based company. It's quite a nice set. You've got a palette knife, 3 whites, which I think is so important, as white is something you go through very quickly. I've found with oil pastels, it's very, very easy to use them up. They are incredibly creamy, which I love. I love that with oil pastels. I do know like hard oil pastels also have their place. They're definitely good for fine detail. But as a bit more of a messy artist, I'm not usually too hung up with the fine details. That should probably be a challenge I could pose to myself, be a bit more refined in my artwork, but I enjoy the messy side of art, the messy creation. So I'm very excited to have these. Now, I haven't looked into the light fast or the like with these, so I don't know how that is. I'll definitely look into that and probably update in a future video as I've set that challenge for myself. You'll probably see some more oil pastel videos this year. If you're interested in that, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell if you're very, very interested. But otherwise, just follow along on my art journey. They're definitely creamy and crumbly. I love that. And they smear out pretty well. Now this is no pastel paper. It is just rough textured sketchbook that I've had for quite a while. It's nothing special, but they come up really quite nice on it. The brand also has a whole array of other colours. A huge set, if people are interested. There are 3 different varieties. They also have a whole different way of like how you can use them, which I think is pretty cool. Like if you haven't got a set before, that's definitely cool. But you've got your classic colour, your macaron colour, and your morandi. I got the macaron, which I'm actually really glad about. Those colours definitely stunning. But yeah, it shows you a whole different array of how to use it, how not to, what ideas you can have, inspiration. So I think that's actually pretty cool, which is, it's always fun, I think, when these sort of things are included. And I think it shows some like genuine care from the company, which is cool. I will definitely be keeping an eye on Giorgione products. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Giorgione. I'm going with Giorgione. If that is incorrect, let me know down below. I was also, from my mum, gifted this Procolour Wallet from Derwent. I do enjoy the Derwent brand. I have a fair few of their products now. I really like their graphic tints. I did a video on that a couple weeks ago, and on their ink tints, but I have a few different varieties of their pencils now. So this is pretty cool. It's sort of like a travel wallet, which is actually another one of my goals for 2025. I want to do more plein air drawing, painting, sketching, whatever. I don't have like a set amount of goals, but I do want to start taking art supplies with me more places so I can actually use them and do them in the moment and just spend more time creating from life. I do a lot of creating from pictures that I've even taken, which feels very similar, but it's not the same vibe, and maybe I won't like plein air at all. But I think that'll be a lot of fun to try out, to test myself. But with this wallet, so you got some paper, you got a blender pencil, which had me very confused as to why that was a different colour to the others until I looked at it. 2 different graphite pencils, HB and 2B, your most popular kinds. An eraser and a sharpener that feels quite sturdy. And yeah, pencils in all your important colours. You've got your buttercup yellow, deep chrome, primary red, cerise pink, imperial purple, spectrum blue, grass green, burnt umber, brown ochre, and ivory black. So I think we've got all our important colours there. And the paper that comes with it was a little bit difficult to rip out, as you can see from the jagged edges there. While it might be user error, as I am a bit chaotic, I do think most people would struggle with it. It was not easy to tear out, and I felt like I couldn't leave it in. It was very stiff spine. I'd probably have to really break it to get that smoothness when you try and lay a piece of paper flat. But otherwise, the paper, it's 110 GSM. It has a really nice tooth to it, so I think the colours, the pencil should layer well. You'd have to get a few layers in there. And I like the wallet that it comes in. I definitely think this could be a nice sort of travel set that I could take with me to get that plein air goals that I've been trying to work on. I know that the wallet size might be a bit big and cumbersome for some people. It's quite flat, but it is very broad. So that may not be for everyone, but I'm definitely going to test it out, see how I go with just those supplies, maybe see what I can accomplish, and go from there. Another gift from my wonderful mother were these Lyra Aquacolor crayons. Now, I didn't know Lyra did their own watercolor crayons. I imagine these are sort of like your Neo 2s, which I know a lot of people rave about. This is probably Lyra's version of it. I don't know how they compare, but they are quite nice to just use as a sort of crayon or a pastel. They scribble down quite nicely, and most of them do wet quite well. There's some that you would probably need more pigment than I put down, even though I try to do a fairly even ratio, but some definitely seem to need a little bit more to get the richness of colours that some have quite easily. But that is definitely something to keep in mind. There also is, like I mentioned before, probably a bit of user error, as I can be quite chaotic. But that'll definitely be fun to use in my watercolor ambitions. I've got 10 lovely colours here, starting with white, which I probably didn't need to swatch out on white paper. It feels very unnecessary. But we've also got lemon yellow, orange, pale geranium lake, deep carmine, light blue, Prussian blue, permanent green, yellows still to grain, burnt umber, Van Dyke Brown, and Ivory Black. So a really good array of colours. I am definitely going to try them out and will hopefully give you a bit more of an idea, maybe down the line a little bit. And I also got these inks, these Derwent Matisse, which is not a brand of ink I've tried before, but definitely wanted to test it out. They come in these nice little droppers. It's definitely a little bit thick for this paper compared to the Daler-Rowney ink, which is good to know. But I just got your basic green and yellow. Though your green runs very, very blue. If you wanted a true green, you'd have to mix some of that yellow in there because it's a very blue just to be called green, which is something to keep in mind. I love the colour, but it's not quite green, if you know what I mean. It's far more like a phthalo green. In any case, this is the Stamperia Glamour paste swatched out, and as you can see, it's incredibly, incredibly sparkly and shiny when the light hits it. Very pretty on the black paper. As you can see, I'm also swatching out all the Life of Colour different pens. So I've got the chrome, so the silver and bronze come out really nicely. Little bit of difficulty with that gold, but it does look quite nice, but it has a very scratchy quality to it. So I think there's something wrong with the tip, but it's probably just a random fault. I do not think that it is going to be in all of them, so I don't think that you need to worry about that. Just be mindful. Now, these metallic brush pens from Life of Colour, they come up absolutely amazing, except for white, which shows on the package that it should be really bold, but it's quite disappointing, all things considered. The rest of them, stunning. And I mean, the paint pens here, they're still quite bright. They're a little less flowy on this paper, but this paper has less tooth. I don't know if that has something to do with it, but they look a bit more patchy. That just might be the black. But yeah, the white for the metallic, very disappointing. The gold, disappointing in the chrome. And the paint pens, definitely the Wildflower paint pens, definitely stick to white paper. But the metallics, the rest of them, other than the white, they can go anywhere. Now, I had a whole heap of difficulty trying to get this out. I thought maybe the lid was like sealed, so I cut it, still had nothing coming out. Eventually, I just took it off and painted it on, trying to make circles, different things. Now, it's definitely comes up super shiny on where I've done it over the metallic paint, and where I've made it a bit thick, it does dry thick, but it's incredibly hard to see on top of the paste, probably because that's shiny too, but I tried to make that quite thick, but no matter how much I tried, I couldn't get it to squeeze out the top, and it didn't look as good as I had pictured and what I'd seen on sort of the packaging. So that is something to keep in mind. I will definitely play with it more. I might just, it's shiny on shiny. That might be a terrible test of it. All in all, I've been pretty lucky this year, pretty spoiled this Christmas. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, stick around. There are definitely going to be more videos. But yeah, thanks for watching. And if I'm lucky, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.